Welcome, everybody over here. Mr. Philippe Grandrieux, you studied at the Institut des Arts Spectacles in Brussels. You've been a visiting professor in Harvard. Mostly you've been an innovative filmmaker for, the past decades. You made essays, video art, installations. But over here in Rotterdam, I'd say you're probably best known for your three features. Sombre, La Vie Nouvelle and Un Lac. And perhaps also for White Epilepsy, which was shown here as well. These are very strange, beautiful, sometimes terrifying films. Sometimes the audience is shocked by it. I'm not sure. I just heard there were 10 or 12 this morning that walked out. But I'd say that's fairly decent. It happens quite often here in Rotterdam. I think one might say that your films, at the end, what they are about is the subconscious of human people. I'm not sure if you would agree that we travel into the subconscious in your films, especially this one.
Yes, I think cinema is dealing a lot with what we can say our own intimity, and yes, it's make with it's close from dreams, but not in the sense of pictures of dreams, but in sense of the structure of the dreams. That's what I like, is things happens in your dreams and you don't know why.
There's no logic.
There's no logic, and it's confrontation of different moments of feelings. Yeah.
In Malgré la nuit, your fourth feature film, we've just saw it. We sort of follow Lens. He's an English guy coming to Paris. He's coming back. He searches for Madeleine, but maybe he also searches for Helena or Lena. There's all these figures, fake figures. It's a mythical journey, I'd say, to the underground. But there's masks, there's suffocation, there's sex, cruelty, everything's around. But would you say it's a very destructive film?
In what sense, you destructive?
Destructive love, jealousy.
Yes, I mean, he's going through a lot of different aspects of love, in a way. But all the movie is more or less about love. And different kind of love, the love, a kind of devotion that you can access with love. For instance, between the father and his daughter, and the jealousy of Lena, and the incredible love for Madeleine from Lens. So yes, it's a lot of different perspective or different aspects about love. Yeah.
But would you say it's a negative part of love, this jealousy?
No,
or
I mean, we shouldn't think in terms of positive or negative parts. Human beings is a very complex. The soul is very complex of the human beings, and thinking in terms of
good or bad,
or I don't think that nobody is really dealing with his life like this. It's something more strong. I mean,
more primal.
More primal, with a lot of paradox, a lot of the relation that we have with the truth, that we have with ourselves and with feelings. I mean, there's a lot of complexity, and it's strong to try to access to this complexity with cinema or literature or paintings. Or I think that's why art exists, I suppose.
And do you think cinema, and watching a film in a darkened room, is still the best way or a unique way to experience that primal experience? It's very immersive.
I believe totally in this. Cinema is very powerful. The structure, the dispositif of cinema, the darkness of the room. You sit, no more movement. You're just in front of a huge picture, more bigger than yourself. The sound is inside of your head, and you are in a kind of fascination, or you are captive. You know, you are from this particular organization of space and time, and you can't have this anywhere else. Even in museum, even it's impossible, because also the people around you, this little community of people during this short period of time, watching the same, things, but it's not the same film. Sorry, of course, for everybody, because for everybody, you project your own materials on the movie. So the movie that you have seen is not at all the same that somebody else have seen, but you have seen it in the same period of time.
Yeah,
Cinema
so there is a connection.
Yes, theater is very important for films.
Are you still surprised by reactions from the audience, also with this film?
Well, it's 20 years I make movies, and for the very beginning of Sombre, maybe in Locarno, half of the audience get out, and for La Vie Nouvelle, a lot of people say that it was incredible to make movies like that. So I'm used now.
Yeah, even in Locarno, the jury was divided. Some said you ought to be shot, and the others said, well, we need to give him a prize.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not looking or searching for any kind of, of this. But I suppose that the movies I made are making a confrontation with ourselves. You are very alone with my movies.
Yeah.
You are very alone with yourself in front of the movie. So sometimes it's very strange, because sometimes people say, I remember for Sombre, somebody said to me, it's awful, your movie. There is so much blood, but there is no one drop of blood in the movie. So you project your own fantasy, your own psychical materials, your own fragility, and that's why cinema is so strong, because the movie is not complete until it is in front of the audience. It's not finished. It's just finished when it's screened. Because to complete the movie, it's not you. You don't finish the movie. It's you looking at the movie that you finish it. So it's your movie at the end that you have seen, and maybe a lot of reaction are coming from yourself, and
sure. No, I agree, but still there is a starting point, and it begins, of course, with you. For instance, in this film, Malgré la nuit, there's this image of a young naked woman in the woods, and she's being punished by an ice machine. It's something I've never seen before, for certainly. But how do you come up with such a visual? Is it something that just pops up in your head, or have you seen it, written about it, or read about it, or?
Well, it was. I would like to have a moment of pure kind of violence, or pure kind of brutality, and but a very quick moment, and have this feeling of the shouting.
Yeah,
and
it seems like it's really cold for the actress Ariana Labette.
Yeah. It wasn't Ariana Labette.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. It's another actress.
There's many.
Yeah. So yes, but it's a very confronting moment, and it brings you inside of something else than the scene itself. The question is not to accomplish the storytelling of the scene. The question is to put you inside of kind of vibration, sensation, emotion. It's more than the scene. It's more what the scene has to tell or has to say. Cinema is not only telling a story.
It's not an explanation.
Yeah, cinema is something much more stronger than that. You know, it's an experience of feelings.
Yeah.
And this moment of this woman shouting in the woods under this cold rain, it's something that there is no kind of an explanation, of psychological explanation why, you know, all these kind of causalities that you have in movies. It's like something blowing up, but it's like poetry. You have one sentence, and then there is another sentence, and then another one, but they are not connected, these sentences, by a logical aspect of the relation between what's of the meanings.
Yeah, or it might depend on the viewer. But some people that oppose your films or judge them, they might say, well, your films, probably this one as well as La Vie Nouvelle, suggests the idea that women, especially young, attractive women, find the urge to be mistreated by older men, to act in sexual acts, degradation.
Yeah,
but how do you respond to that? Are you bored with it? Are you or do you think that it's okay to have these feelings towards your film, or does it anger you?
I think it's more complex still, you know, because in La Vie Nouvelle, a man is devoured by dogs. I suppose it's not a woman, Marc Barbet.
Yeah,
but maybe it's a woman. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I mean,
certainly male victims.
No, but I mean, it's more complex than saying, okay, it's dealing with women and all these kind of things. I mean, in Malgré la nuit also, Ariane Labed, the actress of Hélène, wants the pain.
Yeah.
She wants. She's not a victim of this. So she wants to feel pain with her body, you know, and she get an access to a kind of a part of herself. And this part couldn't be reached only by the pain, only through the pain. That's the movement of Hélène. She's totally free. She's not under the control of anybody. She wants what she lives. So it's not a figure of a young female under the control of a very bad old man. You know, it's something else, totally else.
I think in the film, she says, I paraphrase, that some things are only to be experienced through abject thinking. Would you say that's essential to your film or this film? Or?
Well, I think you can access to things effectively. Depends. You know, it's a sentence of a philosopher, French philosopher, Simone Weil.
Ah, okay. Wasn't aware of that one, but
yeah, it's a beautiful sentence.
I know there's quotation of Gilles Deleuze many times in your films, and yeah, why is it essential for you that thought or that abject thinking can give us something that otherwise is not experienced?
Because it's a part of us. We couldn't put it out. We couldn't say, no, we are just, you know, like people, you know, built with only one piece, you know. We are more, as I said, we are much more complex, much more dealing with dark part, dark side. We are not, you know, on the same level always. For instance, when you dream things that you would like to have dreamed when you wake up. Yeah. But you have this. You have this in front of you. You have this inside of you, and it's everywhere. It's in poetry. It's in paintings. It's everywhere. This strong, you know, relation to the world, and this darkness also is inside of us. You know. So
is that also the answer why you probably never make a feel-good film, because there's no such thing as feel-good dreams, perhaps in your experience, or it would be boring?
Sincerely, I didn't understand so much the terms of good or bad or things. It's hard for me. You know, if we want to say something about this, it's very interesting what Spinoza said. He says, what is good for you is what is increasing your possibility of life. That's good. What is bad for you was the depressed things. It's what puts your possibility of expression less, you know.
Yeah.
So this is for me much more important.
So what's good for me could be bad for you.
Yes, but what is good is for me, and I think, and in movies also, it's to put you in the possibility to grab the sensation that you have, the wind, the light on the water, and a face, and maybe a color of the flowers. That's a strong feeling, strong intensity of different kind of feelings, and through this, you can access to a certain kind of power of your life. I don't know. So this is good, yes, but good in terms of you shouldn't do that or you should do that. This is morality. It concerns the social aspect of the things.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not going to kill anybody. I'm not going to hurt anybody. It's cinema also, you know. It's movies. But so in the life, it's something. But in terms of what you are projecting, it's something else, you know. Otherwise, there is no. When you see Goya, you know, with Saturn devouring his son, it's good to see this, to see the father eating his son. So why he paints this? Why the mythology put this kind of figure of a father eating his son? Yeah, because it's the vibration of the human beings. This complexity, it's like a whole. The soul is like a whole. Like
it touches upon fears and anxieties that we carry very deep inside of, on an instinctive level.
Yes.
More so.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's no other question for me with art. We can say that this instinct or intuition level of things, much more than all the intellectual aspect of our thought.
Yeah.
So you can be very intelligent, but it's not helping you to access to the sensation or to the feelings, you know. I always say, because it was a very important lecture for me, this lecture of Proust. He says that it's in Contre Sainte-Beuve, it's the introduction of Contre Sainte-Beuve. He says we should forget the intelligence. We should reach the field of the sensation, of the instinct, of the intuition. Because to reach the things, Proust says that, and it's very beautiful, it's only by the body. It's because you have suddenly the taste of this Madeleine, you know, and suddenly this taste brings you to a full world of feelings, bringing you back in your memory. But it's not because you want it, it's because you feel it. It's because you have an experience of this sensation with your body, not with your intelligence, not with what you put in kind of morality things, what you have to do, what you can do. It's not at all about that. You hurt, as Proust say, my feet hurt a stone, and suddenly it's all Venice come back with his mother, the light of Venice. But it's because the feet hurt. It's not because he was on the table and he say, okay, I want to go back to Venice with my mother. It don't work like that. It works with your body. And the body, no morality in the body. The body is something else. The body is breathing, it's the digestion things, it's how you feel, how you look when you was a child, at the very beginning of your life. The sky too big, you know, and suddenly it's inside of yourself. And it's more stronger than everything. And cinema is built with this. Cinema is made with this. It's nothing else. It's not imaginary. It's bullshit, this question of imaginary. There is no imaginary in cinema. There is only real. Real, it's different. Flowers, leaves, the sun through the leaves, the sound of the snow. It's concrete. It's the concrete relation with the world. And if you escape this concrete aspect, you lose everything. You just doing things to, I don't know,
That's something else, completely else.
something else.
I do wonder. You've mentioned before that you wanted to work at a certain time in your career with a bit more famous actors to see what you could do with those. There are, well, Ariana Labada from The Lobster, and Attenberg is certainly famous in the festival world. Roxana Mesquida is here as well from Fat Girl. But I read that at first you tried to work with Pete Doherty in this one. Not so much a famous actor, but certainly a famous musician. But something just went wrong, or it just didn't work out, or?
No, we begin to shoot with Peter, and unfortunately, if he gets sick very badly, so he had to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was, I think you shot for 1 day or so, and then
Yes.
Why was it that you wanted to work with him? Could you explain it? But of course, it didn't work out. But it is interesting. I think. Of course, there was another film because it's
with Peter, it will be another movie.
Yeah.
So it's no more in my mind. But what I like in Peter is also this kind of instability and the way he moves.
Mm-hmm.
He's moving in a very strange way, like floating in the air. And when I met him, I like the way he moves. And but Christian brings something else.
Yeah.
He brings something very, very rare, I think, in terms of how I can say that. He's a very romantic figure also, like coming from the end of the 19th centuries.
Mm-hmm.
Is very like a ghost, He's going through the movie like a ghost, and I like the way, and I like what he brings to the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any questions in the audience. Please feel free to step up to the microphone, and if you could speak into the microphone, that would be great. Thank you.
Yes, there is one, because you were talking a lot about human beings and, all the... But it's the dog that questions me in this movie. Also related... It's the dog.
The dog? Yes.
Oui, the presence of the dog in this film. And it's also in La Vie Nouvelle, and I don't have a memory if it's in Sombre. But what about the dog?
What about the dog?
Well, and the presence throughout the other films.
Yes, but it's very hard to respond sincerely to this kind of question. I think we have few elements that we are dealing with, and these elements is going to be repeat in the different movies at the different level. So I can't really answer to the question to say dogs because, it's something that I don't know. It's the animality is very important also, and I like to shoot animals and how they move, because when you shoot a dog, it's absolutely a dog. It's not a dog trying to play a cat, and sometimes actors are trying to play something, and it's finished. You couldn't film them anymore. You can film them only because they are really what they are. So, and when you can film actors at this level, it's very strong, and it's very strong actors that give to you the possibility, all of you, the possibility to film them at this place, not to the idea that they are playing a character. I don't believe at all in all these things, of the character and being inside of the character. What's the meaning of that, An actor is an actor. I mean, when you see John Wayne walking, it's John Wayne walking. Or Brando talking, it's the voice of Brando. You film real things still, even if it's fake at a certain level, even if it's feature, even if it's everything right. you know, but it's something else. So the actor, what I like to film on the actors is what they are really, how they move, how they look, how they talk, you know, how they take a glass of water, the rhythm of the body. So the dogs, maybe this animality is also because I can film in La Vie Nouvelle. In La Vie Nouvelle, it was crazy because I was shooting something and the dog was outside. And he was fixed around a piquet, you know. He was turning like that. And I had this sound when I was shooting inside of the house. So I get out of the house and I was in front of this dog turning around. And I begin to shoot, you know, because as I said, it was there. So it was there in the same time that I was shooting. And I remember it was a very strong scene in La Vie Nouvelle when Anna Mouglalis was the haircut, you know. So it was at the same time, this dog turning and the haircut. And I don't know, it's like a confrontation, une confrontation sudden confrontation, you know, between things. And suddenly it gives you an access to the movie that you even can't have thought before.
Mr. Grandrieux,
Thank
thank you very much for the film and for being here.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.